Welcome everybody. My name is Sharon Klinkenberg. This is the next level of AI use, so I thought we'll just tempt the demo gods and actually do this on the spot. So my main tool in research and also in teaching was RStudio, and I recently switched to Positron, which has a lot of AI integration, and I thought it might be a good idea to show you just how I, as a teacher, researcher, use AI on a daily to do my work. So for today, I want to make a presentation. I already made a folder, that's this. And in this folder, specific folder, I just have the abstracts of my session. And I actually want to make a presentation for today. And for this we have a chatbot available. I already put some text in here. Create a new Quarto Reveal.js presentation. So I'm specifying what platform to use, Quarto, which is based on Markdown. I want to create Reveal.js presentation. Use my session abstract that's in this folder. And I would like to cover 3 topics today. Well, that's also my introduction to you, 3 topics. 1, developing and implementing teaching methods in which I need to cover creating slides, as we're doing right now. How to write open educational resources books using these methods, deploying this information in these documents in GitHub, and maybe also some exam questions creations which we can cover. The second thing I want to cover today is how I do thesis supervision, where with the age of AI and the possibilities for students to use AI, I want to focus more on the process than the products. So that I want to cover today, and research how to use, I want to show you how to use it in research, and in this case how to use DataBot to run analysis and create reports using Positron. So this is what I want to do. So we'll fire up this LLM that's connected to this, and what is created here is a Quarto Markdown document where it says, well, we're doing a presentation using generative AI to support teaching, the subtitle, my name, yada, 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 session overview using generative AI with some notes for me. Oh, that's good. The lecturing methods, yes. Topics, creating slides, writing deploying, creating exam questions, thesis supervision, innovative students, process orientation. This looks good to me. So if I scroll down to the bottom completely, I can just indicate here that I want to insert this into a file and start creating content. I wanted to put it into a new file, so I will do that. This is the file that's created with all the Markdown documents that we have. Of course, I also want to save this, so let's do this first. And now we have this text, but this is still not a presentation, but because we are applying this specific format, and we asked to create a Reveal.js document, I can just look at the preview, say that I want to see this in the browser, and now I am presenting to you my presentation. Session overview for today, developing and implementing teaching methods, coaching students in their writing process, supporting research workflows. Topic 8, developing teaching methods. Using multiple AI tools, combining different AI assistants in different tasks, GitHub integration for version control. Not just version control, but you will see that because we are hosting this on GitHub, this is also a way to deploy your content immediately to GitHub and have students be able to access that. So if we just go back for a second to Positron, because we now created this text file, we looked at the preview. The preview is also stored in the documents file. So we now have not just our Quarto document that we generated, but we also have our HTML presentation, still our abstract and our files. So because Positron is connected to GitHub, we can also say that we have created our presentation presentation, commit, yep, and upload this all to GitHub. And now essentially our content is online and available for students. So this is actually how I work. When I make my presentations for students, the workflow with GitHub is how I do this. For students, I have the statistics lectures. So this is the place where I essentially host for my students the content. So the course that I'm giving at the moment is statistical reasoning, and this is the link I provide in Canvas. So they're always up to date with the latest version. And here I have a slides version of the course where, because it's HTML based, you can do a little bit more than just using PowerPoint. With formulas and calculations, you don't have to copy text, and you have it all available. So this is
this website. On what basis you host it?
Yeah, so it's posted to GitHub, and the content is also hosted on GitHub. So if you go to my GitHub page, github.com, and I look at the lectures. These are my statistics lectures. So the content is in here, and in GitHub you can just say that you want to have GitHub pages enabled, and you can host from your branch. So this essentially means that if you say here it's available, everything that is in your repository is also publicly available.
So it's a public repository?
It's a public repository. I copy the link and I make it available.
And through Positron you just click commit and it's all there?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But you could also say that you want to open an inline chat, add a QR code to this presentation, use my GitHub handle sh Klinkenberg and the path to this file in this repository. Yes? Let's see. What do we get?
So you run a large language model. Do you have to provide an API key for the?
Yes. So it's thinking, yeah, this is what it created. So this is just a link. Is this correct? No, I don't think so.
Follow the link, we can see.
Yeah, but if I look at the link, I already see that it's an API. Oh, interesting. Let's see what it does. So in this way, you can try this out and see what happens. In regard to your questions, so what I've done here is connect to the GitHub API. So in Positron, you're able to set up your LLM provider. If you work in higher education, you can get a free GitHub Copilot account if you'd like and sign up for that. Positron is also already working on adding another option, and that is providing your API key from a different place. So we already tried a little bit to see if we can use the UvA API for our language model and put that in here. That is possible, but there are still some technical caveats, and it's not standard. You really have to dive deep in it. But this is a little bit where it's going, right? In terms of being able to generate content, make that available in a few easy clicks to your students. And for me also very importantly is always having the most up-to-date version. So if a student says to me, oh, there's a typo there, now it's not anymore. Update your browser and it's gone. So in that sense, we do this.
Languages are right?
I am using R, but you can also use Python, or if you have other platforms that you're using, you can also add that. In terms of the large language model, because it's connected to GitHub, you have all these available to you, so that's quite a bit. Sonnet is working the best, I found.
So you're basically giving the instruction to AI to give you the R code in order to generate.
Yes, or the other way around. I created some R code and select the text and ask the AI if it's not working, help me.
It's a general question based on your experiences. You are. So it's how much reliable you think the code generated from cloud is?
The code is pretty solid, but the thing is you have to check.
These slides, they are not images per se, they are HTML files.
They are HTML file, indeed, yes. And that also means that everything you find on the web you can put in here. So if you embed a YouTube video, you have an embedded YouTube video. Or if you find a WebGL image of a neuron, you can embed that and you can move that around in your presentation. So you have the web available essentially for you.
Is it possible to have an adapted version with the existing PowerPoint?
Quarto allows you to have multiple output formats, so you can output to HTML or choose PowerPoint or PDF also. I started doing this in 2015. I haven't touched PowerPoint since 2015 anymore. This is the way that I work.
And it picks its own pictures then as well? So you have this picture on the front page of the...
No, so what the picture on the front page is somewhere in the structure that I've set up in my documents. I've also set up a file with all the meta information for the picture. So I spend once a year updating my how it looks, and then I never touch it again for the entire the visual. So I don't spend my time trying to fine tune, making the colors nice. No, that I do once separately and then just run it.
AI knows that where that file is. And
yeah, it finds it. Yeah.
But
Indeed.
if you would want to do that, could it do that? If I use a lot of pictures in all my presentations.
Yeah.
And they are a way of communicating. So this is where. So could this tool also do that for me? Could I give a prompt and say I want a picture of an owl explaining something to a cat?
I don't know. We could try. So I think the Claude models are not specifically geared to generate images. Yeah. So maybe if you connect to, but otherwise you could also go to Nano Banana, ask for a picture, download the picture, put that in the folder, and say, okay, use this one. So those options are available.
Maybe there's a GPT vision in there. But
yep. So that is what I wanted to show you. What is possible in terms of the teaching method for creating slides. I also wanted to look a little bit on open access books, because for my course we created a statistical inference book. This is a book on statistical inference specifically for our course, where we go into hypothesis testing. We have a lot of text in here, but also in these generated images. If I go to the first one, sampling distributions, we embedded some videos in here, but also Shiny apps, where students can play around, pull a sample, pull multiple samples. Let's see how that works out. And this is also created within the same framework. So if I go back, and this is my entire book with all the chapters that you just read. It's all based on Quarto Markdown, so a hash for a single header, 2 hashes for a second header, etc. This is the embed code for the YouTube video that you saw on this page. The first one, indeed. Why I wanted to show you specifically this is because the LLM has access to essentially this folder. It has access to everything that is in here. So I could say, and what you're seeing now is filling in something that it comes up with. Well, software, well, that's good. And on this book is software agnostic. No, it's not software agnostic. It's specifically written for students SPSS, yes, that is what we use. We have a lot of SPSS examples. But concepts, techniques that can do the analysis described in this book. I have included screenshots of SPSS outputs, but I've tried to keep the interpretation. I think this is a good sentence, right? Agree? Oh, okay. And now we have that sentence in here. Let's see. In chapter 2 and 3, I've included R code. No, I've not included R code. But you can see you can do references also. And if you're writing such a chapter close to a figure, for example, it identifies what the figure is, and it also inserts the correct code to refer to that image. So that makes the whole process easy. So if I save this and tell it to give me a Quarto preview, we can now compile the book, and we have the latest version of this book available with this software chapter available. If I hit commit and push in Positron, then it will be online and it is available for our students that they can read. I even had one student from Italy that forked my repository, corrected a typo, and submitted that for me. And I said, thank you so much. So,
and this is all open access?
It's all open access. You can find the source code here and change it if you want to.
Students can edit this without you coming in between. That sounds dangerous.
No, because it would just work like GitHub. So they can fork the repository, they can make changes, and then do a pull request that I get, and then I can review this, and then I find the typo. Oh, thank you so much. I will use this, and then you push it into the rest, and then you're done. And that's also how we update this book. So now I'm in the development environment. So we created another repository where we can do development and have the main repository separate. So only once a year we do changes.
And can you manipulate? For example, you get the suggestion from a student or something.
Yeah.
Can you accept some parts and reject some? How does that work?
You can accept or reject per line. So everything that So it shows the differences in the code that they use. So they can do both. Let's see. Creating exam questions, generate questions aligned with the objective, create multiple choice distractors, vary difficulty level, build comprehensive answer keys. Well, this is not really what I do.
I just want to say it's very interesting.
Absolutely. So I would go in and let's see, topic 2, exam questions. So I could say here, let's see, open inline. What I do is generate ideas. I create graphs and answer models. I really hate making answer models. Creating an exam question is hard enough, but then also going in and making the answer model for that is really annoying. Let's see what it comes up with. Create questionnaire from learning objectives. Well, this is a bit silly, of course, because I could have written this in line in a few bullets myself. So let's regenerate the presentation to have the latest version available. So for exam questions, I always find coming up with examples the hardest. So that is what I use the LLM for. If I want to create graphs, I ask it to generate R code to make the graph. So if you've ever tried using the large language model or the image generation to make visuals that are graphs, that's hard. It makes mistakes. It does the spelling wrong. But if you ask it to create R code, or Python code for that matter, that works. So you can use that instead. So the comprehensive answer models, I also use it a lot for, and that I check and just copy and paste it in the assessment application as an answer model. So, for example, if the population average of the true alternative distribution is equal to the alpha level, comma, what then is the amount of power? This cannot be calculated, only reasoned through. Drawing will help. Yep. You know the answer?
Do we need to do the check of is he going to react if there is a
But this is the question. So I would say no. Oh, did I go too far? Yeah, here it is. Copy. So this is my exam question, comma. Make an answer model that explains what and why the correct answer is 0.5 and also visualize this with a graph. Let's see. So I'll create an answer model. The correct answer is 50% because when the true population mean equals the critical value determined by alpha, exactly half of the alternative distribution falls in the rejection region. There's the answer model. Okay. I want to see this. Let's run this. Do we get it? Yeah, where is it? Sorry? Oh, an error. No, oh yeah, of course. I need to do it in create, oh, it's NumPy, yeah. Give me the R code. So I do have to realize that I'm using R code for this and not, okay. So now it's creating ggplot, and it doesn't matter if it makes a mistake in the code, right? Because I'll check it, and if there's something wrong, I can correct it. Let's see. Here we go. That looks good. Let's see.
Are the alternatives of doing this in Positron over just in, I don't know, Gemini or ChatGPT, which can also make graphs like this with fun.
Yeah. Why do it in Positron instead of just asking it in the chatbot? You can also do that, though you do have to run the code. Doing it in Positron has access to the different environments, though in the chatbot of the UvA, we're looking into getting R into the environment also, so that you can just run it in the chatbots. Python runs in there, right? Yeah. So if you ask for Python code, it will generate this.
ChatGPT can also run Python.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So those are options, and for me, this is my workflow. This is my daily use as an environment. So let's do it in here. But this can also be done in other applications. Well, this is just an image, so I can just copy the explanation, copy this image, put it into the assessment application, and I have an answer model. So if I find anything wrong with it, I can correct it. If everything is correct, copy, paste it in the application, and we're done. This saves me an immense amount of time.
Yes.
Yeah. And of course, this is on the topic of statistics, but you can do it on any topic, right? You can have your exam questions, throw it in there, see what it spits out. And if the first run is good, then yay. If you need to make some changes, well, that's also okay. But at least it's less work than writing everything down yourself.
Although that's not your presentation purpose, but I still want to ask because I think one of the important thing is creating question bank. And when you have the question bank, you always want to have different level of difficulty.
So this is I know that this is a highly difficult question. So I created a question bank. All these questions are in our testing application. It's ANS. They can also be reused at later stages. And I can see what the performance of the...
Is it possible, for instance, you say create similar level but on another subtopic you pre-specify?
Yeah.
You say similar, is it possible to do?
Yeah, it's certainly possible, but you will have to check a lot. So this is less work for me than generating a lot of text where even if it's 10% good, 90% good, I still have to read through 10% which is crap. So I'd rather just then create one that I actually really want to use and I thought about. Going back to, so creating question ideas, graphs, answer models. Yeah, and you can iterate on this. If you want things to change just a little bit, you can just chat along and see what you can also do there.
So how can you collaborate with someone?
Yeah, that's
presentation together
with someone? It doesn't really have those features. So if you want to collaborate, you would have to push to GitHub, have them pull it, make changes or suggestions. So it doesn't run that smooth as, for example, using Word to do inline comments. So that's...
Yeah, but the option would be that you have like a brainstorm and then one person applies it.
Yeah.
You could also have the shared file, like the source file located on a cloud service, right? And then you don't have the GitHub.
So if you let that go, you could do that indeed. But having a GitHub place on your computer mostly conflicts with OneDrive or Dropbox. That doesn't. No. That doesn't work. Topic 2. Yes. Thesis supervision. So what I do is I do my thesis supervision in teams. So. One of the early ideas when large language models started showing up, from an assessment perspective, I was actually quite happy because it would provide an opportunity to focus more on the process than the product. So if you look at how at our Department of Communication Science, the master thesis and the bachelor thesis are organized. They're organized by end products. So you have one time that you have a pre-submit, and then you have to submit that, and then you have to submit the final version, and those are the contact moments, and I have to assess that. I have no idea what students do in the middle. So that also leaves a lot of room for students to make their own choices on when and how they use the large language model to generate their text. And I, as a supervisor, I would much rather be more involved with my students, especially my master students that I'm working with. I got to admit, I don't have that many. But so when I sit down to them, last week I started with a new student. I asked them if they want to work together in teams. So the way that looks is I created my own team channel, which is master supervision, Klinkenberg. This was already quite some time ago. They get their own channel, locked, private. I asked them to also install OneDrive and make sure that the files that they're sharing from this channel, that they add it to their OneDrive. So you see add shortcut to OneDrive. If they do that, they have the whole folder structure that is here on their computer. And I also have that available. So if they agree to that, then there's a general welcome, but also some information. So try to set up a folder structure with your proposal, your planning, your thesis, your analysis, those kinds of things. So everything happens in this environment. That does a few things. One, they are able to tag me. So if they have a question, they can just add Sharon and I'm stuck here, can you have a quick look? So that's one thing. The other thing, they can tag me in documents that they're working on. I have access to their analysis that they are running. And if I see large chunks of text appearing out of nowhere, I know they're copying text. So in terms of the AI part, I can see their progression. I'm involved with their progression. And in Word, you also have the version history, so you can see what the steps have been in the previous parts. So if they are actually working on this themselves, I would not expect pasting large chunks of text. And if they do, it's time to have a conversation. And that doesn't have to be negative, but I at least want them to be aware of, everything that we discussed in the previous session also.
And you see that in OneDrive, right? Not in Teams. You see that in Teams as well.
It's the same.
Yeah.
So,
it's the same.
So every channel has the shared section. This is her private folder with the folders the files that are in here. If she connects this to OneDrive, so if she adds, installs OneDrive and clicks Add Shortcut to OneDrive, then it's also in her OneDrive. These files are the same. So you can work in your OneDrive, on your computer, on your files, and it's the same file as that you see here.
Yeah.
Yep.
And every time, how frequently you check the history? Because in order to know suddenly a chunk of text, compared to the previous version.
I'm not very strict. So I just look at the text that they created and then go back a few times. Oh yeah, I added, and if there's also structural working on the document, that's also an indication of that they actually are using this document.
So you do actual like kind of version browsing with
a little bit of perusing, not going into the nitty-gritty, but if I see that there's only one submit time, then we might have a problem.
And it's not about being a police officer.
No.
It's more about like getting a grip on how they work.
Exactly.
And once you notice something like that, you have the conversation and you find
exactly. And you have a conversation in time, not at the final product. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, that looks a little bit like AI. Oh, this is your final version.
But does it also mean that when you're working and you have your Teams on, that whenever a student has a question, it pops up?
Yep.
So you're always available.
I am always available, but look at these texts. So, hi Sharon, sorry to send you a message late, but I'm seriously cold. Can we meet online tomorrow? Yeah, sure, no problem. That's 30 seconds of work, right? And then we had an online meeting with a whiteboard, so we can also go back to this and see what we've drawn out.
And do you also have online meetings with the group, or is it always individual?
It's individual supervision, and we try to schedule the meetings on campus. Except in rare occasions, and this was a rare occasion. So the meetings are on campus, but they can ask me questions in between. Okay. Yeah, if we peruse this a little bit, I finished my first draft. Then I forgot. I've signed the application for the ethical approval.
Yeah, it's really useful for a quick checkup.
It's very quick. It's keeping the ball rolling. At one point, she also added some graphs that she created. This is my response. In your case, it seems that the zero value does make sense.
It says 9 replies there.
Yeah. So. Oh, you want to see all?
No, I'm just saying you were still probably more than that.
So no, well, she had an elaborate question, which was a valid one, and I read it, and I'd rather read it now than in one of the in-between versions, because now she will keep on track and make sure that her final version that she submits will
feedback.
Yeah, this and so it doesn't take me a lot of time.
So is this basically you transferred from the standard way of supervision, would be emails, to doing it in Teams?
Yeah, I don't have any email conversation apart from the first time. Can we meet or maybe some calendar invite scheduling. I want the conversation to be in here. Also to have a track record of what we discussed. And they find it also very useful. And you see also with the thumbs ups and the responses that they interact with this. And
yes, but would you say that this is applicable for a smaller scale? Do you think
specifically master thesis supervision? So I also do the bachelor thesis, and that is a larger group. Mm-hmm. So that does not really allow for such a setup. It could, but you have to plan everything out very, very well. But for one-on-one master thesis supervision, this works perfectly.
And if you don't have too many students, of course.
Yeah.
Taking the
But it's also, you could, if you have more students, you could still use it, but you also have to be clear about the expectations. So I'm available, you can ask me questions, but try to limit this. The goal of the master thesis is that you are self-sufficient and that you're able to do this on your own, so you can reach out, that's no problem, but try to be sparse. Well.
And it will also be like in the process, you and the student kind of learn, because you could also decide, well, because you have to avoid it becoming a co-production, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you could decide, okay, this is not a valid question. Actually, this is something you need to find out yourself. And then during the process, the students will learn what the questions are.
We try to cover that before we actually start writing, but indeed that could be the case. And specifically with the analysis, they sometimes go off-road, especially when they add covariates and they have no understanding of what a covariate actually does, which null value exactly, are you mean centering or not, and what are the implications of that. So it helps to help them a little bit along in their way.
Do you make it obligatory that they use Teams, or is this voluntarily?
It's voluntarily, yeah.
Okay. How do you stimulate them to do this? Because I also tried this, having used Teams, but they don't really want to adopt it.
They all were like, yeah, no problem, yeah, nice.
Okay.
You're basically giving them an extra service, right?
Yeah, as a direct line, essentially.
To get the process going, and so that they don't have to wait for a moment to receive feedback.
And what's the arguments that your students refuse?
Some work in different systems like Google Drive, Google Docs, and then it doesn't work that well with Teams. The syncing and stuff. Some work in completely other environments. Some only put occasionally a document in there then, but they still work mostly locally.
The argument that you could make is it's also good for you to have a broadened skill set of work applications, because it could also be that your next employer will use Microsoft, which most are using, so it might be good to dive in already. So you could be a little bit persuasive in that sense. Okay. I think I've covered enough on this topic. So it's mostly process oriented, though I track the time spent for me as a supervisor, and I have to tell you that it's less than we get for this in terms of hours that are provided for this task.
And how do you actually assess? So do you have some criteria during this Teams exchange, like in this process? Like, do you see, like, how can you say this student is very engaged?
Oh, in that sense, yeah. Grading the paper is just following the regular rubrics that we have at our department that need to be followed. Okay. Low threshold to questions, real-time feedbacks, relevant document version tracking, integrated communication. This was made up by the AI, right? I didn't think it, but yeah, it's really good point. Yeah. One thing to take note is you have to explain how they connect OneDrive to Teams, because otherwise they will upload their files to Teams, and then the purpose of checking disappears. So that's something to.
Just to say add to your OneDrive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but just saying add it to your OneDrive is not enough. You really have to, okay, let me see, click that button. Do you see it's available? Yes, yes. Okay, now use this. Okay.
See where it went wrong for me as well. I said do that, but.
The final thing that I wanted to show you, if you don't have any questions anymore about the thesis supervision, is also back to Positron. So this is one of the simulated data files that I use in my teaching. It's based on the example by Andy Fields in his chapter on moderation analysis, where the research is, does amount of hours spent gaming influence aggressive behavior? And then with the question, is that moderated by unemotional traits? So if someone is really unemotional, has the trait of being a little bit meaner than other people, is that a moderator in this analysis? So I know this data set pretty well. It's simulated, and I use it to explain moderation analysis. But the thing that I wanted to show you is, in terms of research, where the future could be going, and that is that we could use DataBot. So DataBot is an add-on that is available within Positron. And when you start DataBot, it starts asking you questions. Hello, I'm DataBot, here to help you. Show me what you can do. Load the data sets from CSV. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Load, what's his name? Aggression. Aggression.csv. Found it. That's wonderful. Allow for this session. Yes, this is my data file. Great. I have loaded the data into the variable called aggression. The data contains 100 observations, hours spent gaming, unemotional traits, aggression. Yes, indeed. I'll suggest some things you might want to do. Show me summary statistics, create a scatter plot, check for missing values, run correlations. No, I want to run a moderation analysis with an unemotional traits as the moderator and hours spent gaming as the predictor to predict aggression. Let's try that. So I'll run the moderation analysis with emotional traits. This is my formula: aggression, hours spent gaining an emotional trait, plus the interaction. So it created an interaction term, I see. That's good. It ran into an error, but it will fix the error for itself.
Wow.
It's fixing error. Let me approach it different by calculating the predictors. Okay, go ahead. Wonderful. Let it run. Perfect. Now let me provide a summary for the simple statistics. The key findings: significant moderation, p-value lower than 0.0. Oh, this is so fast. The interaction term is highly significant. The beta coefficients, is that correct? 0.03 from the beta coefficient. Oh, well, I'll check it later. The p-values, the r-squared for the total model. Model is highly significant, indeed. An emotional trait, one standard deviation below and above for the moderation. And it suggests test the significance of the simple slopes or check model assumptions, add raw data points. No, I want a table. I want a table with, and then, oh, I didn't specify with what, but nicely formatted table. Yes, wonderful. Intercept, hours spent gaming interaction. Yeah, that's good. R squared, Okay, that's good. One above, one below, that's also good. Now, and the final step, as you can see, you can ask DataBot type / to see commands, command report. Enter. Then it will suggest to make a report. Load the critical skills, perfect. Introduction, data loadings, moderation analysis, model fit, simple slopes. Yeah. Yes, perfect. Go ahead. And now it will create a new file, markdown file with everything in there, reporting what it's done up until now. And this is, again, a plain text file, so I can go through it. If I see anything, mistakes, I can edit it, change it if needed, change the text if it's needed. You could also ask to write down a short summary of this specific effect in APA formatted style. You can also ask to create APA style tables. And if it's done with creating the report, you just say preview. And it creates a preview, the HTML format of this document for you, which is now available, and we can watch here with the total report of our analysis.
Wow.
And so what we've been seeing today is talking about how you can use a chatbot and to help students learn. Using it like this fundamentally changes the way we do research, right? Mm-hmm. I don't have to teach my students SPSS anymore. Just do this. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, there's a thing, right? In terms of being able to critically evaluate if this is okay, students need to be able to know how to read R code and know the statistics to see if anything is wrong. So still skills and knowledge that they have to acquire in their studies, but the way that they can implement this eventually is things like this.
Statistics becomes more like a language course. And
Yeah,
less like a
yeah. So imagine that you have this connected to a text-to-speech, and then I don't even have to write it down. I would just say, well, I want this.
Do you also have are there also qualitative research examples?
Yeah, so you could also do the content analysis and have that do it for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but also for example, if they're making the moderation or mediation visuals with the models, you can also ask it to create a mermaid graph for this, and then you have a visual for it. So also those kinds of things work pretty easily.
And question, so for example, if it's like a report like this,
mm-hmm.
students need to make, so they have to be already checking all the code before they submit, and then you just recheck the code in the report, for example. Or how do you assess?
Oh, I'm not there yet. So I'm experimenting myself with using this as to do analysis, but you could also ask to make the report in a Word document, and then you can ask them to submit the Word document, and then you can add comments. Yeah, all right. Indeed.
You just said we won't have to teach them SPSS anymore, but to me it seems that it's to be able to check this and everything. It's basically the same skills and understanding.
Absolutely, yeah. So what I said indeed. So the student needs to be able to read the code. So for us at Communication Science, we're not going to teach our students to create Python to read Python code, and R is already a little bit of a bridge too far. Not for the research masters, but for the regular students it is. But you could also imagine a scenario at one point where it doesn't make mistakes anymore.
So what would that mean also for the...
But then your students won't have to learn this anymore.
I don't know, but this could...
the output, for instance, understand the output.
That's absolutely,
Is essential.
Yeah. So what would this mean for the workflow of science? Because I could imagine that the number of articles then being produced becomes more efficient because you need to spend less time on writing, but you still need to peer review and you still need to read.
Yeah. But if you really go the next step, so the whole Positron is using the Quarto notation, and if you look at the Quarto site, it's specifically purpose built to have one format, one QMD file that could output to multiple things. So you could also output to PDF. Mm-hmm. So you can download the publisher's format, and then say apply this style, and it's publish ready.
Yeah.
And if you would, and if you're, and if you're a proponent of open science and say, well, I just want to publish in OSF, you could also directly publish into OSF, and then it's available to the world.
One essential question: you upload the data set. Of course, in our example, is an example data set. How you are sure about the security of the data you upload? Normally in our institution, the warning is always in my head is never upload any
No, exactly. Yeah, that's absolutely true. You have to be careful with that. Yeah. So that means that if you have a secure data vault in your security, in your university, then you could write code to connect to that data vault, do your analysis, and then publish it from there. But of course, you have to be careful with that. Yeah.
Maybe in the future with different API keys that are secure, like the UVA API key, then you could do it.
Yeah, so this is an important point, right? So I'm using the GitHub Copilot API and have all these...
Use Claude, though, no?
Yeah, but Claude is part of the GitHub Copilot models that are available for us. I signed up as a teacher affiliated with the university, and I get a free teacher access, but it has access to every file that's in this folder. And of course, it's for my presentations. I don't care. It's open access. That's how I work. But if you really want to use it for actual research, you better make sure that you have an API that has a local LLM running and that you're not sending it out to the cloud. So, of course, you have to be careful with this.
Or you send it to a managed secure cloud.
Exactly, yeah. But as you can see, there's a lot possible already. And this is only going to get better.
The interesting thing, by the way, I found out with the GitHub, you told me about this a year ago, and since I have it, if you get the GitHub Educator stuff, you actually get full GitHub Pro.
Yeah.
But how to get it?
I'll show you in a second. Yeah. So if you search for GitHub Copilot for educators, and then it will direct you in the.
You have to like start uploading like payslips and stuff.
Yeah, you have to upload something that proves your employment. So what I did is I took my UvA payslip and only copied the top part, and that was enough. Okay, let's see. I'm going back to the presentation. I think if the AI agrees with me that we are at the end of this presentation. Creating reports, research questions. That's it. Thank you so much.